Racing. It's in our blood. From the No Limits at Texas to the high-speed banks at Daytona.
I mean, nobody's going to catch that 3-truck of Hal Amy as he takes it.
From the drop of the green flag. To green flag pit stops. It's in our DNA. We live for it. There's 7 nights in a week. And only one night matters to us. The moment to prove that we're the best. Laying down an entire season. Pushing the limits. We're made for it.
Bumper, Artie Peterson out to the lead. Glenn Jameson's pushing hard now. Garrett behind him. Top 5 could throw a blanket over it. Artie's going to drop down to the inside. 10 car's going to start pushing. These guys are getting a little dicey back in 5th and 6th place. Little contact between the 14 and the 70. 63, 3 wide in the front. Artie Peterson stuck out in the middle. Brandon Winning, we got a car down on the apron, 70 car, and now a car up in the wall. We got a wreck behind him. 1 lap to go. Rick Fagone has got the position right now. Garrett Helmlinger and Glenn Jameson neck and neck. We got a push on the inside, push on the 10 car. Rick Fagone looks like he might pull it off neck and neck at the line, and the 10. Oh, and the Garrett Helmlinger, I can't believe what I just saw. It looks like Garrett Helmlinger.
Survival of the fittest. 16 Chace drivers. 1 championship. Who's got what it takes? As they give the command to start the engines, it's time to find out. WFO is live right now.
On it, but man, Fagone has just a perfect 1 and 2 right there, Nation. Fagone's going to bring it off the bottom, out of turn 4. Can he hold them off to the start-finish line? And I believe he's going to, Nation.
Good win.
WFO Twisted Tuesday Truck Series season finale at Phoenix Raceway. Race 5 out of 5. It's going to be a good one. I can already tell based off of the points, based off of the grid. It's going to be a tight battle. I'll bring the points up for you right now up onto the screen so we get the venue and the track out of the way. Chuck Sweeting with a 10-point lead over Glenn Jamieson, and I'll tell you why this is really important. You've got Richard Holland back there. He's 16 back from the leader. But Glenn Jamieson gets the pole over your points leader, Chuck Sweeting, who's going to start in second position, 1/100th of a second off of him. Then you've got a little drop back from there. We go through the grid here. We're getting ready to start it up. Let's take you through your positioning orders. The top 3 in points. They've qualified top 3 in this race. Glenn Jamieson going to start on the pole. We'll go through your qualifying. 27.082 for Glenn Jamieson as we get set to grid here. Some of these guys taking their time getting onto the lineup. Right now, Burt Wilson is going to start in the 4th position. As soon as we get these cars up here, there we go. Blimp camera. It's lined up. Glenn Jamieson starting up front. We're going to start on the inside here tonight. The new configuration of Phoenix Raceway. So if you remember the old Phoenix, it is now the backstretch where the start-finish line used to be. You're going to come out of what used to be turns 1 and 2 before the dog leg, and that will be the start-finish line. These guys have got a new configuration here. The wall widens out in the entrance of 1, kind of messes with your braking point and your entry. An optical illusion. The dog leg has a harder transition, but this track reconfigured back in 2019. It's completely changed the way they get around this place. Chuck Sweeting, 27.097, so 1/100th of a second separate these two. They're the only ones to shave off under 1/10, so 27.146 for Richard Holland, who's going to start in the 3rd position. Let's get your grid up there, take you through There it is right there. Glenn Jamieson, Chuck Sweeting on the outside. Richard Holland going to start third. Burt Wilson in fourth position. Fifth spot, Rick Fagone and Kyle Stewart in that 20 and 6th spot. Dakota Floyd 7th with Vern Bradley in 8th position. And rounding out your top 10, we've got Brian Beach and Todd Cleveland. Chad Meadows and Jacob Daniels 11th and 12th. 13th spot, John Sanu. 14th, Garrett Helmlinger in the 77. Michael McCauley in 15th. And then James Lee is going to round out your field. So here tonight, 15 cars, 16 cars, not including Michael McCauley, who has not gridded. I believe he might be up in the tower for tonight's race as we get set to take it around the track here. WFO Twisted Tuesday Truck Series going on for 10 solid seasons. And this one's going to be no different. I think some fireworks are going to fly here tonight. Short track racing. Tough place to get around. Let's see if Glenn Jamison's got it figured out. He needs Chuck Sweeting to have a bad race here tonight and keep it up towards the front. Chuck Sweeting's just got to cruise around this place in the position he started. He's got her grabbed. Then you got Richard Holland, who's back there. He needs both these guys in front of him to have a bad day. I would say probably based off of points, like we just talked about, it's really the top three that are going to have the best shot at it. It's gonna be a tough, tall order for anybody outside of that top three. But here we go. Pace cars pulled off that long pit road, reconfigured. We're going to take the green right here in the entry of one. Let's see if anybody gets loose. Little wheel spin. Here's the Geico restart zone, and here we go. Glenn Jamieson on the inside. Chuck Sweeting on the outside, and we're live. Twisted Tuesday Truck Series. Cuts down the dog leg for the inside in lap one. It looks like Glenn Jamison's got the preferred line here as he exits a late apex. Coming off of the dog leg into turns two. I guess you would call that turns two. Had a car in the wall there for just a second. I believe that was the 72 of Jacob Daniels, but leading lap one. This time by, Glenn Jamieson gets it around. Chuck Sweeting going to lose a position here to Richard Holland down on the inside. Glenn Jamison's got a great lead going here. He's got this place figured out. Holland getting around Sweeting. Now Rick Fagone looking to the inside. A little bit of a pass going here. Dakota Floyd gets around the 20 of Kyle Stewart, put him up to the 6th spot. Ryan Beach and Stewart side by side now as they go into 3 and 4. Nicely done off the corner. Stewart's going to hold it back on the inside of 1 and 2. The rest of this field kind of single filed out, but we still got a battle. It looks like Stewart's falling pretty fast. He started up towards the top 5, starting in that 6th position. He's fallen back to 9th, almost falling out of the top 10. Vern Bradley, another one of those guys that started up a little bit higher. He's fallen back to the 10th spot. He's got a little right side damage. That might have been the car that actually hit the wall there earlier. We'll have to see. But this guy right here, Glenn Jamieson, let's look back. He's got a lot of ground behind him. He might be using up his stuff. I don't know. But right now, it's looking really good. Nice cushion, 1.2 second lead over the rest of the field. And Glenn Jamieson just trying to run away with this race. You can tell this guy put a lot of practice in trying to get this championship nabbed. And Chuck Sweeting has fallen back to 3rd. I don't think that's going to be enough of a points deficit. Chuck Sweeting's going to have to fall back a little bit further if Glenn Jamison's going to gain that 6 points, or that 10 points rather, to that first spot. So there's a little pass. Maybe Burt Wilson peeking to the inside of Rick Fagone as they go into what would be 1 and 2. Now peeks to the inside for just a second. Nothing there, so he's going to close the door up. And we've got some tight racing back here outside the top 5. Look at Brian Beach. He was looking inside of Dakota Floyd there for a minute. Now Vern Bradley peeking to the inside of the 28 of Chad Meadows. These guys side by side coming off of 4. A lot of passing left to be done. These guys still have some pretty fresh tires. I'd say by lap 12, you're going to see a lot of this tamed down. Guys are going to spread out. Whoever saved their stuff is going to prevail. So it's interesting to see 1.3 seconds as that gap gets bigger and bigger. Richard Holland still under fire from Chuck Sweeting as they go into 1. I guess it's 3 and 4. You guys will have to forgive me. I've gotten very confused on what turn is what as they've reconfigured this track 4 times in the last 10 years. But shout out to everybody in chat. If you have a favorite driver, hashtag that driver's number. Get your final vote in for driver of the day. Post-race interview with the top 3 and your driver of the day after the white flag. We don't count the votes. So here we go. 63 to Jameson, 1.1 seconds now. That gap's starting to, well, it's 1.2. It hasn't shrunk much, about a tenth of a second here. Holland's starting to pull away from Chuck Sweeting. Starting to put a little bit of gap there. Sweeting might be trying to conserve his tires for this longer run, but right now as it sits, nobody's really caught up to the 63 of Jameson. It's been the Jameson show since we began. He started down there on that inside, had the preferred line. He got the pass and he got going. He's led every lap so far. We're coming up on lap 10. You see these guys all single filed out. It's starting to spread a little bit, just as I predicted. Car was a little loose on the start, but the tires were good. You could actually get some passes down on the inside. Now, car's really tight. As this run progresses, they're going to get tighter and tighter. You're going to watch turns 1 and 2 on the exit wall. You might see somebody clip that wall. Hopefully it's not your leaders, but it can happen. So 10 consecutive seasons. It's been a great season. These guys have kept it tight, kept it close. 5 playoff races. It all comes down to this here at Phoenix, and not the preferred track for some of these guys. The guys that perform really well at mile and a halves, some of them struggle here. We've seen, like Chuck Sweeting, back in third. He's usually really dominant at places like this. Iowa, he's very dominant. Did a really good job at Charlotte. Just having a tough time here tonight so far. Falling back to third. Nobody's really contesting the 75, I think, for this third spot as it sits right now. But Fagone is back there lurking, and Brian Beach almost hits the wall there as they cross the dog leg. He's having a hard time right now. This car looking really tight. Currently in the 6th position. Big run down the backstretch. But it's going to be tough to do anything with it on these older tires. And he's getting really tight there on the exit. He's elected not to cut the dog leg as much as the rest of the field. And that might have something to do with the wide entries into the corner. Might need to back his corners up just a little bit. So that gap maintained 1.3 seconds. And Jameson just maintaining that cushion. Praying it goes green for him here. He can get on and off pit road cleanly. We're not entirely sure on the pit strategy, what these guys are going to do. We know they have limited tire sets, and that has been a factor all season long. A little mix-up here at WFO. 2 big changes that have kind of influenced the outcomes of the race is limited tire sets and the restart zone. That was another change, a big change that iRacing implemented into the sim about late last year. You know, a lot of leagues have picked it up. It used to be at the leader's discretion. Anytime after the first initial start of the race, drivers would take the restart at their discretion. It would be the leader's time to go, and you could get a big gap, especially at these tracks. You can get a big jump and have 4 or 5 tenths going into turn 1. Not the case anymore. Now it's kind of hard to time. The leader still has the advantage for the most part, but if you can time it just right and not pass that leader before those lines, you can hang right with them. You kind of have a better understanding of where that leader's going to go instead of leaving it up to the pace car pulling off. It makes it very tough to judge it. And Glenn Jameson right now exploiting very well. He's maintained over a second, but it is starting to fall off a little bit. Let's ride on board here with Richard Holland. He's starting to shave that down. It's under a second now. 31 trying to catch up to the 63. Down to 8 tenths for a brief second there. Looking back at the 4th position, just behind Chuck Sweeting. We've got the 10 of Fagone, and he's falling off a little bit. They're starting to spread. There were almost a second gap now between Sweeting in 3rd and Fagone in 4th. Brian Beach holding his own behind Burt Wilson, back in the 6th spot. These guys working this track, but if we go to the blip camera and take a big look at what's going on around this place, we'll look at the 1st position driver of Glenn Jamieson. You can see that gap shrinking down to 6/10 now, and then all the way back to Chad Meadows. Actually, we're going to go to Jacob Daniels. Meadows in the pits right now. Daniels just now coming out of 1 and 2. Jamison's on the backstretch going into 1 and 2. So big spread. We're talking about probably 20 seconds or so gap between the leader and your 14th place driver right now, who is 8 laps down. Actually, Meadows 9 laps down, so Daniel's still in the lead lap in the 14th spot. So that lead has dwindled down 6/10 of a second now, and Jamison's starting to feel a little bit of pressure, a little bit of heat here. Might have used up his tires pulling out there early. He needs to start nursing this thing back to health if he's going to maintain any kind of gap. Holland, big gain there as they come into the entry of 3 and 4. Across the line, 21 laps in, and you can see what a ginormous gain Holland just had there in the entry. He is really cutting down the time now. So your top 3, they've spread out a little bit from the rest of the field. Fagone's going to be under fire here. He's got Burt Wilson and Brian Beach. Those two have been battling. Beach just hasn't been able to make it work yet. But he's up on that outside line and getting a big run down the straightaways. Look at live chat. Wake up. Anybody out there? What's up, nation? How you doing, buddy? You're the first one to chat today. I don't know. What the fuck? Where is everybody? Hal Amy not able to make the race tonight. Took the Amy Nation with him. We're about to have a battle for the lead, though, on lap 25 as they come across the line. It's looking pretty close. Holland has it down below 0.3 of a second. And he's bringing Chuck Sweeting with him. It's not close, but he is bringing him with him. Look at this late apex here for Glenn Jamieson. Let's see if he gets any kind of run off the exit. Doesn't look like he's getting any ground. Holland just has such a solid 1 and 2 here, or 3 and 4 rather. Just know that whatever I talk about, just completely disregard. I have no idea on the configuration, what you would call that term, but so solid on the entries here for the 31. Starting to shave it down 0.25 seconds here. That gap's not getting any bigger. Glenn Jamieson going to be under fire here in a couple laps. I would expect that Holland's probably going to try to take it to the inside, especially in 1 and 2, where you see Jamieson really high up on the corner. But he's going to have to make quick work of it because Chuck Sweeting is also starting to catch up to these boys. He's got it down to 0.4 of a second. Take it back to Fagone. He's lost about 1.5 seconds to your third place driver. Do a solid run for him here today. Fifth, he's gained 1 spot. He got around Burt Wilson. He's put it up there in the top 5 and left it there. And he's going to have to gain on these boys on pit road. And the 18 of Beach clips the wall. I told you about that. Car was getting tight. He's going to be one of the first guys to clip that wall in this run. So heavy right side damage there for the 18 NOS machine. The Mountain Dew Baja Blast. It's all over the place. I try to keep up with the sponsors, but he's always raking in money. All right, top three right on top of each other. Holland able to get around the 63 of Jamison and take away the lead. It's going to be the first lap led here for Richard Holland. We just missed the pass. That's on me. We just missed it. Now Jamison under fire from the 75. Right up on the bumper as they go into 3 and 4. Sweeting backs off of it a little early. He's going to try to get the run here on the exit. See if he can take it anywhere. Not that time through. Now he dives into 1 and 2 all the way to the bottom, and he's going to make quick work. Maybe Jamison's going to hold it on the outside here on the exit and put up a fight. He's putting up one hell of a fight here on the outside, but 1 and 2 is just different story compared to 3 and 4. Very tight corner. You got to be on the bottom for it. But back down into the dog leg, right up on the bumper. Holland stretches the lead out to about 0.5 of a second, almost 0.6, but Sweeting able to get around Jamison. It's going to be interesting to see if Sweeting was just saving those tires, if this run's going to prevail. Coming up on green flag pit stops, clean and green for 33 out of 150 laps thus far. 0.4 seconds, and that lead has shrunk down a little bit. Sweeting's starting to make a gain. Down to the bottom through the dog leg. You can see him trim a little bit of time. Get back here and take a look. Fagon going to be under fire for Burt Wilson here soon. These guys are starting to make up ground on the leaders. It was 1.5 seconds just a moment ago, but Fagon has caught up under a second now to third place. Wilson, being a teammate of Glenn Jamison, he wants to put the pressure on Fagon here and keep him back. Top three spread about the same as it was when we last left it. 0.5 of a second as they go into 3 and 4. Not a lot of jumping around, not a lot of change for position. This race has been pretty stagnant. A little change for the lead there, but pretty much since we've taken the green flag, there's only been 2 guys that have lost a ton of ground. Kyle Stewart's one of them. Starting in the 6th position. Looks like he might go back to the 10th spot here momentarily. Bradley able to recover. He's got back to his starting position, but he clipped the wall there at the start of this race, and you can see a little bit of a lot of right side damage on that machine. There is a massive gap from Vern Bradley up to the 7th position driver of Dakota Floyd. And the 14 of Bradley's going around. He gets clipped. There's a wreck on the front stretch. Yellow's got to come out here.
All right, you tell me about your car, bud.
We're going to go take a look at that. We were just talking about Vern Bradley and the massive amount of damage. He worked himself back up to the 8th spot, but then comes off of turn 2 completely sideways there. You see him coming in the 4. I don't know if he gets a little help here or if he just gets loose. Yeah, he gets a little help from Kyle Stewart. There's the contact. The 20 gets into the side of the 14, and then 55 has nowhere to go. The yellow comes out for the first time. Let's go on board with the 20 of Kyle Stewart here. I don't know. From that angle, it almost looks like the two guys going for the same piece of real estate. Go back one more time. Take a look at it from the gyro camera. Or maybe the roll bar camera. We're just going to look at the right side here. Stewart's keeping his line pretty well here. He does come up a little bit, but Vern comes down at the same time. It's just two guys going for the same piece of track. And kind of hard to react to. But that's going to group him back up, and green flag pit stops happening big time now. Glenn Jameson, Chuck Sweeting, Richard Holland, Burt Wilson, Rick Fagone all down pit road. Holland going to be the first one out. Sweeting the second one. Jameson, who had that great start, has some fresh tires now. Let's see if he... Well, we hit some wrong buttons there. We're trying to control the cameras and hit the wrong button. But, yeah, Jameson had that great start on fresh tires. Let's see if he conserves a little bit more this time. Maybe he goes and chases these boys down later in this run. Did not expect that caution to come out, though. It happened at about the right time. These guys were getting set up for green flag pit stops. So you can see how tight this thing was getting, how hard it was to be side by side. Unfortunately, caution number 1 coming out on lap 38. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. Chat, I don't know what's going on.
Hey, wake up.
But get with it here. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after this. Oh my God. Oh my God, what a fucking thread there, buddy, huh? Oh my God, that was... Back live, Geico restart zone.
Green
Richard
flag.
Allen going to lead him off, and here we go. Chuck Sweeting on the outside. Glenn Jameson gets the jump there on the inside. He wasn't sleeping. Here he goes to the dog leg. Let's see if he can get the spot here and clear the 75. He's going to do it in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, whatever it is. He's in the corner. He's doing great. The 14 of Brian Beach is really loose on the exit there. Beach almost loses it on the inside of Sweeting. He's going to lose about 5 spots there. Falls all the way back to the 9th position almost. Todd Cleveland beside him now. But Jameson trying to chase down. Chuck Sweeting falls back another one. He's got Rick Fagone on the outside now. This is what Jameson needs. Now he needs to get up to the lead. He needs to snag it away from the 31 of Holland. This is going to help him in the points if Sweeting's going to fall back a few spots. This is going to be a hard-fought championship between this top 5. Oh, we've got a car hitting the inside wall. It's the 14 of Vern Bradley. No yellow. Single car spin here. Hard into the wall there. Let's go back and take a look at that. He comes off of turn 4 completely sideways and just right into the inside wall. Winter yellow. I think if any other cars would have been out there on the track, they would have had a yellow. But Vern Bradley going to pull it down to the pits. Might be done for the day. Back to the racing, though. Richard Holland has the lead. 0.4 of a second here over Glenn Jamieson, who burned up those tires on that last run. About lap 20, he started to fade, and Holland able to get around him and lead some of these laps. Now Holland hasn't looked back. Sweeting back to 4th spot. Things have changed up here in the top 5 on that restart. All right, 31 of Holland. 0.4 ahead, Glenn Jamieson, and then Rick Fagone, your top 3. Chuck Sweeting, Burt Wilson, top 5. Burt Wilson having a solid night here tonight, and he's kind of putting the pressure on Sweeting right now. Wilson running a much lower line than most. Sweeting kind of matching that, but most everybody else kind of high on the entry. 1 and 2. Everybody dives down to the bottom in 3 and 4, but hey, what? Watch this entry here for the 70. All the way down to the bottom. He peeks to the inside of Sweeting. Sweeting gets down to the bottom of the exit. This top 5 is clocking out from the rest of the field right now. Looking like maybe a pass is getting set up here between 2nd and 3rd. Jamieson, Fagone. You can see the battle starting to heat up a little bit. Holland's loving what he sees in his mirror right now as he pulls out to 0.7 of a second. This 2nd through 4th spot has not spread at all. Any one of these guys makes a mistake, somebody's there to capitalize on it. Working their way around for the 54th time around this place. Pagone's starting to lose a little ground on Jamieson. Waiting, going to take it maybe to the inside here. Wow, Jamieson really high on the entry there. Really high entry there for the 63. Might be pushing it a little too hard, trying to catch up to Holland, who stretched it out to 1 second now. Diving it all the way to the bottom here is the 70. Got about 3 different lines here from 2nd back to 4th, back to 5th. make that last turn work before the finish line. I don't know. We might have to just go through the top 10. Richard Holland, your leader right now, 1.4 seconds, so 1.1 seconds ahead of Glenn Jamieson, who's in the second spot. Then you've got Rick Fagone in the third position, battling your points leader, current points leader, Chuck Sweeting. These guys have been going back and forth. Burt Wilson diving that dog leg deeper than anyone I've seen. Back in that fifth spot. Then you've got sixth position Dakota Floyd, who's had a pretty quiet night tonight. Hasn't stirred anything up yet. Brian Beach, who's clipped the wall, gotten loose, had an up and down day in the seventh spot. Ty Cleveland, this is a guy that was battling earlier with Kyle Stewart. Stewart there back in 10th spot. You see Johnson New in 9th. Maybe a pass here. You see too wide as they go into the entry of 1 and 2. And a downshift here for the 86. And that loses him a little bit of ground as he tries to exit the corner, gets a little loose, and a big, deep entry there for the 86. 14 of Vern Bradley, who is a few laps down. He's got most of that damage fixed, but he had to do it under caution, or under a green flag pit stop, so he's 3 laps down right now. Trying to work his way back up to, he's got the lucky dog position right now if a caution does come out, but not a lot of cars out here on this track. Holland's lead starting to shrink down a little bit. Jamison's got it down to 0.7 of a second as they go into 3 and 4. I'd say Glenn learned a little bit there in that last run. Maybe how to conserve it a little bit differently. It's a little hard to judge when you have no one in front of you how much you're burning up your stuff. But now with a car in front of him, he's able to run a little bit different line and figure out what's working and what isn't. Let's see if he can get a run on this 31 machine. Get up there and take away that lead. Chuck Sweeting gets around Rick Fagone for the 3rd spot. Ricky's under fire now from the 70 of Wilson. It's about where we saw Fagone earlier. Starting to fall off a little bit. Looking back at Dakota Floyd in the 6th position. Coming up on halfway. Green flag pit stops probably around lap 82, I would say. Haven't seen any takers. Vern Bradley was one of the first cars down pit road. Had that contact with the inside wall. Down the back straightaway. Has since drove it up to what would be about the 8th place position. But yeah, it's going to be tough. He needs a caution to get some of these laps back. Currently riding on board with the 14 of Vern Bradley. And then we're going to go back up here to Glenn Jamieson, who has the lead at about 1.1 seconds. So he was making up time, and now he's lost about half of that gap back to Richard Holland. And it looks like that car is getting tight as Chuck Sweeting starts to put on the pressure. Sweeting has been pretty solid all season long, and he's been one of the guys that has saved their tires the best. Even if you get out there 1.5 second lead, Sweeting will chase you down, and it looks like, you know, right now he's slow, but 2 or 3 laps from now he'll turn up the heat, as you see him starting to turn up the heat on the 63 of Jameson. He's going to get a big run here on the exit. Let's see if he dives it down in the entry. No, he's going to back it up, back the corner up, let Jameson get out there a little bit. It's a good drive off at 3 and 4, cut the dog leg a little bit, and then see what you get on the entry of 1 and 2. He's getting in there a lot deeper than the 63. He's able to get the nose in there several times. Not able to complete the pass, and the 63 is going to hold on to it another lap. Holland is loving this. .4 seconds now over to Glenn Jameson. The gun might even be catching up to these boys. .3 seconds that time by. Jameson and Sweeting keep racing side by side like they are here in 1 and 2. It's going to open up the door. Some of these guys back 4th, 5th, even 6th spot are going to catch up to him. We're on a 31 lap stint here as Holland crosses the line. And the 31 car putting on a show. 71 laps into this race, and we've seen a tight battle between 1st and 2nd in points. Right now, Jameson has the edge, but Sweeting in no hurry. He's got the points locked up, and unless something dramatic happens here for the 75, he's got it locked up. These guys are going to have to run away from him. Side again as they go into 1 and 2. Jameson leaves him a lot of room that time, and that's going to allow Sweeting to get the exit and get right up on the bumper. Dives it down on the 1 and 2 big time run there. I don't believe Sweeting is gonna, oh boy. Maybe a crossover. No, Jameson backs it down. Could have pressed the issue into 1 and 2 and got the spot back. Jameson's just gonna let it go. We've got about 6 laps to pit stops here. Jameson looks like he's really struggling. He's changed his line a lot from when they started this race. Track is tightening up. You can see it rubbering up down there on the bottom. Might not be favoring the 63 right now. Now Sweeting's going to try to chase down Holland. 1.5 second gap now in the 2nd position. It is dwindling down a little bit. The timing here, you've seen Sweeting take a long time to get around the 63 of Jameson. It's going to be green flag pit stop time by the time Sweeting really starts to cut this lead down at all. If he does, they're going to be hitting pit road, and then it's going to be kind of a reset. Clean tires, fresh tires. You're going to see probably somebody save a set here for the end. It's going to be interesting to see. Jameson's falling back about 7/10 of a second. And then we got Rick Fagone, who's put a pretty decent gap on Burt Wilson in 5th. Wilson and the Nerds machine trying to chase him down. On and off pit road, though, that's where it's going to be the difference maker. Very tough to get on pit road here. Sweeting hasn't really gained too much, maybe 1/10 of a second here on Holland. One of these guys might elect not to take tires during this green flag pit stop, and that could really shake things up. Amy Contracting Truck Series, live on WFO. Past the halfway mark, lap 80 out of 150 now as they cross the line. 79 laps completed, 1 caution. We've kept it pretty clean and green here tonight. But still a lot of racing left to be done. James Lee, Garrett Helmlinger, and Chad Meadows have all retired from tonight's race. Field getting very spread out, trying to look for some action here. We go back maybe to Kyle Stewart, Rick Fagone, who's hit pit road, so there's some action. Ting truck hits his pit stall. Dakota Floyd, Glenn Jameson in as well. Richard Holland and Chuck Sweeting still out there. Let's see if Jameson's able to get on and off. He's got that first pit stall, so a little bit of an advantage on the exit. But very tough to get into your stall. Does a nice job getting in there. Here comes Richard Holland and Chuck Sweeting. Very close gap here as they come into pit road. Going to be behind, and oh, the 86 almost gets into the side of the 31 there. That's going to interfere with his pit entry a little bit. It looks like maybe right sides only. We're going to have to take a replay of that. Looked like right sides only for the 75. He gets down and away. 4 tire stop for Richard Holland. So right sides only for the 75. He's going to come back out as your leader. Let's see if 2 tires pays off for the 75. Things looking really loose here. 2-second gap as they measure it, and he crosses the line. Gap shrinking down pretty quickly. Not sure if that was on purpose or not, but the 75 electing to take 2. Or if maybe he's going to save a set of extra left sides. I don't know. Lose a little ground here. 1.8. It's kind of hard to measure here. Is it kind of all over the place? He's holding his own right now in the lead, though. With 2 tires, is looking pretty good. Well, Jameson goes goes all the way back to the 5th spot. He's trying to get around his teammate, so a little slow on and off pit road. Some falls back, still in the top 5, but 6 seconds back and probably about 3 or 4 seconds back from second place driver Richard Holland. That's a ton of time lost on pit road. Oh, and the 72 gets stuck in the wall.
Caution. Tell me about your car real quick.
72 trying to get out of the way of Richard Holland, and he's stuck in the wall. He's going to have to tow to pit. Car is not going to come out of that wall. He's trying. It's not going to come out. Let's go back on the replay and take a look at that. Caution number 2 here tonight on lap 87. 72 just trying to stay down out of the way of Richard Holland. Gets super loose and snags that inside wall. And unfortunately, once it gets stuck in there, it doesn't come out. So now we've just come off a green flag pit stops. We're about 5 laps into this stint. Chuck Sweeting leading all 5. Be interesting to see if anybody elects to come down pit road and top off with fuel. 20 of Kyle Stewart gets his lap back here. I don't know if anybody's going to elect to come down pit road. I think everybody's going to stay out this time around. This is going to group the field. We've had 2 cautions here tonight, and we've grouped the field up about every time we've had green flag pit stops. This car is very loose. These guys finding out the hard way as it all cycles through. Me too, Jacob Daniels losing it on the exit of turn 2. Look alive, chat. Vote for your favorite driver of the day. Hashtag that driver number in the chat right now. You can tally up those votes and keep track of them. Get a post-race interview with the top 3 and your driver, your favorite driver that everyone votes for. And if you haven't yet, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Like and share this broadcast and help everybody out. Here at WFO, 10 consecutive successful seasons. And we're in race 5 of the Chace, final race of the season. Finale here at Phoenix. Chuck Sweeting, your points leader, leading this race. He elected to take 2 tires the last time down pit road. Richard Holland taking 4. Rick Fagones worked his way up into the 3rd spot, but we've grouped the field back up. It's going to be interesting to see who can get the challenge. I don't know if Holland has anything other than 4-tire advantage. Sweeting was maintaining that gap at 2 seconds. It's going to be interesting to see what Sweeting can do as we get doubled up here. Burt Wilson up around that outside. He's going to have to press up on the bumper of that 31. Gonna have to tighten that up on the outside a little bit. Glenn Jameson, who started in the 1st spot, has fallen back to 5th.
Green flag, green flag.
There goes the green flag. Burt Wilson lagging really far back on this restart here. Gonna dive down to the bottom, and Holland loses 2 positions. Now it's Fagone and Jameson. They get to the positions, and Dakota Floyd looking to the inside in the 24 for the 4th spot. He backs it way up. We had a car clip the wall. I believe it was Todd Cleveland down on the inside, and now the 86 is Sanu and the 14 of Bradley. They're kind of all over the place here through the dog leg. Into 1 and 2, side by side here for the top 10. Bradley being scored 3 laps down. Brian Beach, unfortunately, 1 lap down. These guys battling for lucky dog spot, I believe. Praying that another caution comes out, but Chuck Sweeting loving what he sees in his mirror. And with only 2 tires on that pit stop, you'd think that Rick Fagone would be up there to catch him, but Sweeting has pulled it off to about 0.5 of a second here. Fagone had a great restart, but it's quickly succeeding to 3rd and 4th position. Jameson starting to catch up to him. We were a little bit worried about Jameson. He was looking good there at the start of this race. Fell back to 5th, but back up into the top 3 for the 63 now. Richard Holland behind him. As this race plays through, though, I don't know. Chuck Sweeting with those 2 tires, what's going to happen here? Everybody having pretty identical lap times. Sweeting's maintaining that gap over 2nd position. Not sure if Fagone's maybe saving the tires. Maybe Fagone took 2. It looks like he took 4. He had a 14.2 second pit stop, so definitely got 2 more tires than the leader. A little trim with the ball. I don't know if that was the Taylor in the 63 that time through there. But Holland really putting the pressure on the back of the 63. That is incredible. Chuck Sweeting has pulled it out to almost a 2nd lead. 2 tires might be the answer here. Zia, thank you for the vote. Hashtag number 63, Glenn Jameson getting a vote here tonight. And on board with the 63, currently in the 3rd spot. Started on the pole. He's had a good one so far, but he's going to have a lot more time and a lot more ground. He's got about 49 laps left. Can he get up there and take away that 1st position from Chuck Sweeting? He's got to get around the 10 of Fagone, though. And then he's got pressure from the 31 of Richard Holland just behind him. Down this race, it's starting to get tighter and tighter. 2nd through 4th, that's been the battle. The leader pulls out to a big gap. Doesn't matter who it is. 2nd through 4th has been right on top of each other. It's been shuffling back and forth between Fagone, Holland, Jameson's been all over the place. He's been in the lead. He's been in fourth. He's been in fifth. He's just trying to figure this thing out as the track starts to change. Really good short run from the 63, but if you got any kind of traffic in front of you, it's tough to run the line. And there you see Richard Holland putting it to the inside there. Little run on the inside. Jameson able to counter it with the outside run down the back straightaway. He made it very tough for Chuck Sweeting to get around him earlier in this race. And Jameson knows that even maintaining second in points here, he's got to stay ahead of that 31. And you got the 10 of Rick Fagon, who, spoke to this guy during pre-race. We talked to him a little bit. He said he wasn't happy with the way this track was reconfigured. He really hates going to this place, but right now, for hating it, he's doing a great job. Second position here for the 10 of Fagon. Let's see if he can bring it home. Got about 45 laps left to complete as they come across the line. 105 completed now. A lot of racing left to be done, but you can see Fagon get a better run there. And here maybe a pass for the third spot. Holland dives it down all the way to the yellow line on the apron. Big run there. He's going to get the third spot away from Glenn Jameson. Burt Wilson back here in fifth spot. Solid night for him tonight. I don't know. These guys have single filed out. I'm looking for a battle. Trying to find some guys that race the side by side, but it's really spread out. Closest interval on the track is actually between your top three. The rest of these guys have spread out over 2.5 seconds. I mean, Dakota Floyd's here. We got Burt Wilson a little bit ahead of him, but that's about the closest cars on the track. Holland has got around Jameson. He's caught up to Fagon. So here's the second position battle that could be brewing up. Fagon probably not going to contest this for too long. He might hold it up on the outside for a couple laps just to run his line. But if Holland gets it down there in the bottom of 1 and 2, probably look for Fagon to concede. Because he knows what's at stake here for this 31. He's got to go chase down that 75 of Sweeting. Speaking of Chuck Sweeting, 2.2 seconds on 2 tires. Incredible drive here for the 75 tonight. I'll show you what that looks like as we have the battle behind him there. Holland gets around the 10 of Fagon. He's going to go chase down Chuck Sweeting. And keep in mind the 31 has 4 tires compared to the last stop of Chuck Sweeting with 2 on the right side. Going to make a difference. Two and a half second gap, 111 laps completed. These guys are on about a 28 lap stint, so we're coming up on green flag pit stops. 10 laps or so. Gonna wind it down to the very end where we can figure it out. If these guys can push it to lap 120, I think they're gonna be okay. But whoever has that extra set of tires in the bag, that's gonna be our guy that's gonna figure it out. unfortunate series of events here. You can see Jameson starting to put the heat on the 10 of Fagon, but Lynn, currently as it's scored right now, he might lose the second spot in points. He's going to have to get around the 10 of Fagon. Gap has not shrunk at all for the 75. That is miraculous how 2 tires has been so effective here tonight. Really loosened that truck up. Looks like Sweeting's having a great time driving it. 2.6 seconds. You know he had to put some practice in to figure that out. Even after grouping back up, it's crazy to see. You know, I can kind of see it with the advantage of taking 2, how much time that saved you on pit road, get him out there to a 2.5 lead. But after that caution there with the 72 got loose, these guys got all grouped back up. I thought somebody might have something for him. Maybe could get to his inside. Hasn't happened yet. We're talking about almost 3 seconds over Holland now. Glenn Jameson brings it down pit road. He knows he can make it till the end. So he comes in. 24 Dakota Floyd's coming off of pit road now. These guys still out here on the track. 75 with a massive lead. Could probably afford to bring it down pit road next time by. Third place car, Fagon. Don't know if they'll follow suit with this pit stop or not. They might stay on an extra lap. I'm not sure. Johnson New in the 4th position right now, getting passed by Glenn Jameson. Would put Jameson with 1 lap down right now. He mows this track around. Let's see what he's got. He's making up a ton of time. He's going to have about 3 lap older tires right now as it sits. 4 laps now. But for every lap that 75 stays out there, that could be time lost. Sweeting coming down pit road now. Holland's going to have to get on and off pit road perfectly. Let's see what the 75 does with his tires. We're going right behind him in the 10. Right sides go up on the 75. Left side's probably going to go up this time. Fagon takes 4 tires. Here comes Richard Holland down pit road. Right sides go up on the 31. Left side's going to go up now. Down away from the 31 in Johnson. Sanu still out there on the track. Glenn Jameson will be second in line, but Chuck Sweeting right up on that bumper here. Lost a lot of time with the 75 on pit road. Glenn Jameson's going to try to hold him off here. Those fixed lap older tires just could not hold up to the 75 as he gets around him. John Sanu, the last car out there on the track, and he is going to have to pit. He's not going to make it to the end. He's coming up on the end of this stint, about 2 or 3 laps left on fuel, and he hits the wall on the exit there of 1 and 2. Chuck Sweeting looking like he's running away with it here, as it's about 1 second lead over Glenn Jameson, who had to try something, short pitted a little bit, trying to get ahead of Chuck Sweeting. Just hasn't worked out for him. Burt Wilson in the 4th spot. Holland and Fagone, they've lost a ton of time here on the entrance of pit road. I'm not sure what happened there. These guys lost probably 5-6 seconds over the leaders. It's a big gap there for the 31 and the 10. Laps to go, not going to be able to overcome that 20-second gap. Well, that's to the leader, John Sanu, so I'd say it's about a 10-second gap to Chuck Sweeting. That is a big gap. Advantage on tires for the 31. He's got a ton of time to make up. I don't see that working out in his favor. Chuck Sweeting looking really good with 22 laps to go. I hate to call it now, guys, but unless we have a caution, 86 John Sanu coming on down to pit road. Sweeting going to become your leader this time around. I think we're going to crown a champion here. Great finish, though. Glenn Jameson looking solid right now and might be able to hold it off in the 2nd position as they cycle through. Burt Wilson in 4th as they come around now in 3rd. Richard Holland's not going to go out without a fight, but he's going to struggle to get back up into that top 3. It's going to be a tall order for these guys to get back up there. Working to the inside of Dakota Floyd here for the 4th spot. Peeking just a little bit down to the bottom now. Side by side onto the exit of 1 and 2. Didn't quite get the run that he wanted, and he's going to have to back it down. Now taking the nose deep into 1, or deep into 4. Dive the dog leg, see if he can get that cut. Fagone trying to follow suit around the 24th. Holland gets around Dakota Floyd, who had about 7 lap older tires. Fagone diving it down now. We're almost 3 wide on the exit of the corner of 1 and 2. Jacob Daniels there on the outside, just trying to stay out of the way, but Chuck Sweeting running away with this race. 4-second gap now over Glenn Jameson, Burt Wilson, Richard Holland. 18 laps to go. Can Holland sneak his way back up there into the top 3? Right on board with third and fourth position. The gap between the leaders, 6 seconds from Holland up to Sweeting. About 4.5, 5 seconds from Glenn Jamieson and Burt Wilson. It's just too much to overcome in this amount of time. These guys would need a caution to overcome that. Don't foresee that happening. So Chuck Sweeting coming off the lead, 15 laps to go. These two cautions haven't seemed to phase the 75. He's been stout. He's been controlling this race here in the later half. 44 laps led here for the 75. He waited until the second round of green flag, or what was the first round of green flag pit stops, the second round of pit stops, to take over, and hasn't looked back since. Well, there's one vote. Counts as one, but we got you. We got you. Nunzia. He's in the second spot still. He's lost a little bit of ground, but still in the second position. Almost 6 seconds back. Richard Holland gets around the 70 of Burt Wilson. Now going down to chase the 63 of Glenn Jamieson. He's got time to do it. 14 laps to go. Does Glenn Jamieson have enough to hold him off? Massive gain there by the 31 on the 63. It's those entry points, and now the 10. A Fagone gets a battle on the inside to the 70. Who's going to fall back to the 5th spot? There's the 14 of Vern Bradley. He's kind of in between this mix here. These guys might meet up with Vern Bradley as you see the battle off the exit of the corner. Jameson just able to hold on, but still the nose there on the inside. 31 of Richard Holland takes it down into the 3 and 4. Jameson probably not going to be able to hold this off. Richard Holland back up to P2 after all those green flag pit stops. They all cycled back around. Bradley gets up out of the dog leg there to let these guys by as they battle around him. Chuck Sweeting coming around for 9 laps to go this time by. Had a dominant performance all race long. Stayed up there in that top 3. Really all the top 3 has been very dominant here tonight. Have not fallen out of it. Other than the cycle of the green flag pit stops, it's been very competitive here tonight at WFO. In the Twisted Tuesday Truck Series, and we really didn't know what the outcome was going to be. We had Glenn Jamieson starting on the pole, Chuck Sweeting falling back to the 4th position at one point in this race. Takes 2 tires, don't know how that's going to work out. You never know how that's going to work out at any track you go to. But what a benefit it had for the 75. Even after that caution, still able to pull away from the field. 7-second lead here. This race dwindles down. 7 laps to go as they cross the line. I think we're about to crown our champion, chat. Holland about 7 seconds back now. Trying to chase him down. Got some battling going on back here for the 5th spot. There for a second, Dakota Floyd looked like he was catching up. But maybe got a little tight there on the exit of 1 and 2. Has fallen back again, so Todd Cleveland in the 7th position. John Sanu 8th, 9th spot, Brian Beach. And this is the first car a lap down. If a caution does come out, Brian Beach will get that lucky dog position. Jacob Daniels in 10th, and then Vern Bradley, the last car running on the track. Kyle Stewart, James Lee, Garrett Helmlinger, and Chad Meadows all retired from this race tonight. But with 5 laps, now 4 laps to go as he crosses the line. Chuck Sweeting, your leader, and Richard Holland trying to chase him down. He's got it down to 6 seconds, but it's just not going to be enough. Not enough time left. That's under a second, over a second a lap. It's just not enough time. And I'd say Chuck's probably taking it easy around this place right now. Not trying to overdrive it and make a mistake. He doesn't want to catch a lap car at the wrong time, so he's just taking his time getting around this place. Trying to wrap things up here. WFO season number 10 in the Twisted Tuesday Truck Series. Amy Contracting presenting this whole season. Big shout out to them. Big shout out to WFO. Very thankful for them to bring me on as another season of broadcasting. And then Wednesday night, if you guys don't know, we raced the Wednesday night Wicked Wednesday Xfinity Series. The season finale for that also tomorrow night. So be sure to tune into that. We're wrapping this season up, and it looks like Chuck Sweeting, taking 2 to go, is going to be the guy through the Geico restart zone across that finish line. 2 laps left. Flagman getting ready to pull out that white flag. And just a great capital letter on top of the win for Chuck Sweeting. He had to perform well. He knew Glenn qualifying in the pole was going to create some issues, and he overcame that, able to take away the lead. And he's led a lot of them. White flag in the air here for Chuck Sweeting. 58 laps led here. Started second. As they come down into 1 and 2. Off the exit. Great drive off. Nothing in front of him. As the 86 of Sanu way out there. Down into 3 and 4. Chuck Sweeting is going to win here tonight. Phoenix Motor Speedway and WFO Wicked Wednesday or Twisted Tuesday champion in the Truck Series, Chuck Sweeting.
Congrats on the championship, man.
What the fuck, Chuck? Good job, man. Good running all season. Same to you, Glenn, Bert. Good job on the overall total.
You too, Ricky. You too, Richard. Great job.
Thanks, guys. It's great season.
And we're going to burn it down with the 75. Chuck Sweeting getting it done here tonight. We're going to do the victory lap and take it back around this track. Well, our only vote for driver of the day. Glenn Jamieson, we're going to get post-race interviews with your top 3, and then Glenn Jamieson will be up here in the booth. We'll pull them up here one at a time. We'll be back right after this quick commercial break. Oh my God.
Oh my God! What a
nice.
fucking thread there, buddy, huh?
Oh my God, that was.
In and out.
Ow, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Get me out of here. I lost the hubcap.
Damn you, crucifix.
Bye.
You're running flechettes. Oh, he's still in here.
Anyway, you ready? Take you through your race results real quick. Chuck Sweeting getting it done here tonight, getting the championship. Chuck Sweeting crowned here tonight at Phoenix Raceway, your race winner as well. Richard Holland going to come in second. Glenn Jameson in third, and that's going to be tight. I think that Glenn's going to edge him out in the points and get second in points, but tight battle. These top three, just insane. Great to see it. Love coming down to the last race. Fourth place, Rick Fagone, Burt Wilson in fifth. Sixth position, Dakota Floyd. 55 of Todd Cleveland in seventh. John Sanu, Brian Beach, and Jacob Daniels round out your top 10. Vern Bradley, Kyle Stewart, James Lee, Garrett Helmlinger, Chad Meadows will round out your field. 15 cars out here tonight, and special thanks to Michael McCauley for race steward on this race. But we've got to bring up your winner of tonight's event and championship, Chuck Sweeting, getting it done here tonight. Congratulations on the championship. I know this was a tight battle with you and Glenn Jameson across the board.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a really good, solid season, and yeah, I don't know. It's the way the race started tonight. I didn't think I had anything for Richard or for Glenn, and I kind of figured out something about halfway through, and with my braking and how much brake to use and when to lift and when not to lift, and picked up a little bit of speed there. So yeah, I was able to bring home the win tonight and the championship. So that's how you want to do it.
Well, we saw you take two tires there before that second caution, and it made sense there. I mean, it didn't make sense to me, but it made sense to you, and you probably practiced it. Two tires on that stop, on the second stop, and then I was kind of worried that when we had that caution, those guys all get grouped back up with you, that, you know, you were going to get ran over, but it didn't seem to happen.
Yeah, I was worried about the exact same thing when I got the two tires. I hadn't practiced it, but the truck was just so tight to me all night. I thought, well, I'm going to try it. You know, I got a pretty decent points lead. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But it made the truck real hard to drive for about 7 to 10 laps, and then after that, I was faster for the rest of the run than I was with four tires. So, but yeah, that caution come out. I thought, oh well, they're here now, and they got better tires than me. They're just going to go on by. But I don't know. I think by then I'd figured out how to be a little bit faster, and was able to pull away from them. I was surprised at that too.
Well, you're the guy behind the wheel. You feel it more than we do up here in the booth, but nonetheless, man, great drive, great season. I mean, just take us through like what it takes to be a champion here at WFO.
Yeah, it takes consistency. It takes respecting the other drivers, so they'll race you with respect, and well, that's easy to do in this league because you know everybody's race is clean here, and you know you got to be there every week. And you got to finish, and um, that's really all it takes. And it just happened to go my way. You know, it's I'm a little bit behind in the Xfinity. I hope to do a little bit better there next year. I would have liked to have won both championships, but that's being a little greedy, I guess. But we'll see what happens tomorrow night. It's still close, but yeah, you just gotta put the effort in, and it'll pay off for you.
Well, Chuck, congratulations, man. It's first time season over here at WFO, I do believe.
Yeah, it is. I can't wait for the next season to start. It's such a good league, such great drivers, great administration, and of course great broadcast too. So it's a lot of fun. It's relaxing, you know. You don't have people screaming and yelling at each other and getting too mad. I mean, you know, we all get mad occasionally, but nothing out of control. So
Been there. Been there.
yeah, it's a pleasure to run here. It really is.
Yeah, I saw you Sunday night, man. That's a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah, big time.
But appreciate your time, man. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out for the victory and the championship here tonight?
I just want to thank Amy Contracting for their support of the league as always, and you, Vern, all the admins, Michael, for all the work they've done all season long. It's really appreciated. Thanks to my buddy Gil for painting the truck for me, and thanks to my sister for supporting me. And looking forward to tomorrow night, and then I'll get a little rest before next season starts.
Right on. Hal Amy says congratulations, Chuck, and everybody in the chat. They're shouting you on, man. So appreciate your time, Chuck, and we hope to see you again tomorrow night and then next season.
All right, thanks a lot, bro.
All right, there's your champion, your race winner, Chuck Sweeting, getting it done here tonight. WFO Twisted Tuesday champion. We're going to move on to our next driver, Richard Holland. Tell you what, it was a struggle with him. He had to battle back. It's just those green flag pit stops, man. It seemed like it really threw you off. And, Chuck took those 2 tires. I thought you guys were going to mow him down, but he said it kind of tightened back up and felt faster after that long run.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I felt like we were pretty good getting on pit road, and I may have been a little overcautious getting on our box, and I felt good about it. But yeah, Chuck took 2 tires that one time, beat us off pit road, and I knew he did. I obviously had him right in front of me, and I thought, well, all right, he's gonna jump out to a lead, but we should be able to run him back down, and we couldn't, and I was talking to him down there, and he said that it freed the truck up a lot more and able to rotate. I think probably under throttle. You know what I mean? So helped him. The truck did get really tight, especially in 3 and 4. So I don't know. It is what it is. The championship was obviously out of reach, but I don't know. The old 31 was pretty good out front. We had a pretty good run there at the beginning. Ran Glenn down. Glenn was really strong. I was impressed with him. He brought the fight to the championship here and did everything he could do, and was happy for him there. Obviously fell short there, but yeah, I want to say congratulations to Chuck on the championship. Good season. He's obviously a very good, clean racer, which is a lot of fun. Makes it a lot of fun to race around someone like that. You know what I mean? And you can't not respect the guy for that. So. Just a great season all around with racing with everybody. It was actually a lot of fun. But yeah, we kind of fell behind there, and then you get back in traffic. The thing don't handle as good. It's even tighter when you get back there, and we just kind of had to battle and pick our way through. And Chuck obviously had really good stops, and he pitted 1 lap sooner than we did. I was going to wait till that next lap. I was hoping he was going to go another one, but he didn't, and I wanted to pit. I was going to pit on that same lap, hoping that I'd get in 1 lap sooner than him, I guess is what I'm saying. But anyways, yeah, we just got behind on that and never could make it back up. And I was hoping for a late caution, but we didn't get it.
Yeah, late caution would have changed things a little bit, would have grouped that field back up and maybe allowed you guys to put some pressure on him. But nonetheless, man, another season here at WFO, 10 solid seasons. And I know you've raced for probably, 6 or 7 of them. It's been a while here.
Yeah, we've had pretty good stretch, pretty good run here.
But nonetheless, man, it's excellent finish. And like you said, Glenn putting on a hell of a fight there for the last race of the championship. I know this, 3rd place in the points, it's not what you were expecting, but it's also, some of these guys that they're happy just to finish in the top 5 at a race, let alone in the points. So congratulations on that, Richard. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out and thank for tonight's performance?
Yeah, I want to thank you for doing the broadcast all season long. Gives us a chance to go back and watch these things, and it's a lot of fun. And you do a good job putting on a hell of a show, and it looks awesome too. Um, and like I said, I just want to thank all the guys out here, all the competitors, all the racers. It was actually a really good season, I thought. A lot of good, hard, clean racing. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Obviously you want to finish it off with a championship and maybe win a few more races, and we probably could have done that. We could have done some things differently, and we lost out on a lot of strategy deals throughout the season. So there's a lot of things that we could have done better.
Yep, figuring out the tires, man. That was the tough one for the first couple weeks.
Yeah, and Chuck and them guys did a real good job at that all season. And so yeah, but yeah, anyways, yeah, just congratulations to them and to him and Glenn finishing second. Like I say, just everybody, my teammates, everybody that works hard to put on this show, to do what they do, put the league on, run the league. We wouldn't be able to have this good fun racing every week if it wasn't for them. So, got to thank them guys, and I got to thank the fans. Amy Nation, them guys coming out every week, supporting us in full force. Rooting for us. We know them. We know you guys are there. We know you guys are watching, so we appreciate it, and we give them hell every week. Knowing that you guys are there, watching us, rooting for us, and supporting us. So we appreciate it.
Appreciate your time, Richard, and we got tomorrow night, so looking forward to that as well, man.
Yeah, definitely. We got a little bit of a buffer there, so I'd like to, if we could run as well tomorrow night as we did tonight, and have a little luck on our side, we can maybe hopefully lock that one up. That would be really, really awesome.
Yeah, Richard, I appreciate your time, man. Look forward to it. Congratulations on the third place in the points as well.
10-4, man. Thanks.
All right, second place finisher, third place finisher in the points, Richard Holland, and it's been one heck of a show. Dakota Floyd, great season. Excellent job to you. Been great racing around you all season long. Look forward to tomorrow night, and we have one more driver to bring up here for this post-race interview. And that would be your third place finisher, Glenn Jamison. Also driver of the day. Driver of the day, third place, second place in the points, man. It just, you put up a fight. You qualified up there on the pole. It just didn't quite work out the way that you wanted it to. But Glenn, man, hell of a race tonight.
Appreciate it, Cooper. Thanks. How you doing, man?
I'm great, dude.
I did everything I could tonight, right?
You did. I mean, you put the car up on the pole. You put up a fight every time them guys got to your bumper. You were clean on and off pit road. You guys even had a little work on the strategy there, short pitting and trying to get back up there. You got up there to the lead, but it's just, I don't know, man. You fought all the way through it.
Yep, right there at the end, we figured we knew new tires make a big difference, and they make a bigger difference in the first few laps than in the last few laps. So we figured if we could pit 4 or 5 laps before everybody else, that would give us a little bit of boost. And harder to catch you on the last 5, but you can really make time on the first 5. So we decided we'd pit a little bit short there and give it a go, and it worked out. Got me back out. I came back out in the lead. So and then of course I just got out driven by Chuck and Richard, great drivers, great racers.
Well, we saw the 75 take 2 tires, and I don't know if that was a strategy to even enter your mind, but apparently it freed the truck up more. Do you think that if 2 tires would have happened, were you comfortable trying something like that if you could change it?
Yeah, that actually would have been good. I mean, really, you're burning the right sides off here, and turn 3 is so tight, it's so hard to get in there. So it was probably a good move. It's not something I practiced, and so I probably should have. But yeah, I didn't even think about it, but that definitely would have made a difference because turn 3 was really tough.
Well, the tire strategy all season long, it's been a factor limiting these tire sets, and a lot of drivers have had to adapt to it. It's changed the way the seasons have went. You had dominant performances from, guys like Rick Fragone, Richard Holland. You guys come up here and just figure out that strategy, put yourself in the right place at the right time.
it's really shaking things up.
Yeah, definitely. It's been good this season. Like to add a little bit of strategy, when you can just burn them off and get new tires every time, it's a totally different racing. But when you gotta have a strategy, think about your timing. There have been times you've had to double stint tires, and try and think through it. It adds adds a little bit more to the experience. Makes it fun.
Well, we got tomorrow night. Glenn, I know you've been performing well in the Xfinity Series, and you've been doing good in both. You come out here tonight, second in points and third place finisher. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, definitely. First, I'd like to say hello to my sister Nancy, who's watching tonight, my brother-in-law Bobby, my brother Keith. So I really appreciate them coming out and watching tonight. And then Cooper, I got to thank you for what you do up in the booth, man. You broadcast a great race. I go back and watch them. I think they're fantastic. You do awesome. And then
Appreciate that, man.
WFO, Vern, Hal, Amy Contracting, guys who put all this on. Macaulay, great officiating. And I just got to thank all the guys I race with too. It's fun racing out here. Very competitive. Been a very competitive season. I think I've learned something, and I really appreciate it. Just having a lot of fun. So thank you all.
Appreciate your time, Glenn. And I tell you what, man, driver of the day as well. I forgot. I kind of mentioned that at the beginning, but yeah, brother was in here. I believe Nunzia.
Yep.
Nunzia. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we got the vote. You got driver of the day tonight. We got some votes in there for you, and we appreciate your time, man. Congrats on that as well.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. Wow, what a way to finish the season. That's almost harder to come by than winning, baby.
Right?
Love it.
Getting that driver of the day, man, and people have been battling for that all year long.
Well, thanks again. Thanks, everybody. And again, thanks, Nancy, Keith, Bobby. I hope you guys enjoyed it. A lot of fun.
All right. Glenn Jameson, third place finisher tonight, second overall in the points. Congratulations to Glenn. And we've got one more thing to say. Tomorrow night, WFO Wicked Wednesday Truck Series. Hope you guys have hit that follow button so you never miss a single race here at WFO. For Vern, Nation 01, and myself, Bradley Cooper, signing off here tonight. Great season overall. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't be late. We'll see you tomorrow. Everybody take care. Have a good one. Racing. It's in our blood. From the No Limits at Texas, the high-speed banks at Daytona.
I mean, nobody's going to catch that 3-truck of Hal Amy as he takes it.
From the drop of the green flag. To green flag pit stops. It's in their DNA. We live for it. There's 7 nights in a week. And only one night matters to us. The moment to prove that we're the best. Laying down an entire season. Pushing the limits. We're made for it.
Bumper, Artie Peterson out to the lead. Glenn Jameson's pushing hard now. Garrett behind him. Top 5 could throw a blanket over it. Artie's going to drop down to the inside. 10 car's going to start pushing. These guys are getting a little dicey back in 5th and 6th place. Little contact between the 14 and the 70. 63, 3 wide in the front. Artie Peterson stuck out in the middle. Brandon Winning, we got a car down on the apron, 70 car, and now a car up in the wall. We got a wreck behind him. 1 lap to go. Rick Fagone has got the position right now. Garrett Helblinger and Glenn Jameson neck and neck. We got a push on the inside, push on the 10 car. Rick Fagone looks like he might pull it off neck and neck at the line and the 10. Oh, and the Garrett Humlinger. I can't believe what I just saw. It looks like Garrett Humlinger.
Survival of the fittest. 16 Chace drivers. 1 championship. Who's got what it takes? As they give the command to start the engines, it's time to find out. WFO is live right now.
On it, but man, Fagone has just a perfect 1 and 2 right there, Nation. Fagone's going to bring it off the bottom, out of turn 4. Can he hold him off to the start-finish line? And I believe he's going to, Nation.